Hello, Schmoville. Well, you are listening to the Schmoes Know podcast channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking it out. There are a lot of you who started listening to the Toad Hop days, and you're very familiar with Tiffany Smith as the co-host. You might be familiar with Katie Sackhoff as the co-host. However, they were not the first. The first co-host we ever had, female co-host we ever had on the show, joins us in this episode. And that would be one Catherine Reitman. We met Catherine at an audition one day for this show. We had a back and forth, and it was Mark and myself, a couple other people, and Catherine, and we just hit it off with Catherine so well. We said to her afterwards, because we knew her from her show Breaking It Down at the time that she had, and we said, why don't you come in to be a guest on the show? And she was like, yeah, definitely I'll do it. So we had some coffee. She said, I'll definitely do the show. Just let me know when. She left, and I said to Mark, I was like, she might be a great co-host if it works, the back and forth. And he was on the same page, and we had her on. And it was funny because she was late. We talk about it in the beginning of the show, and we're like, oh, maybe she got second thoughts about doing a show with the Schmoes. But she came in and she kicked ass, and there was just this rhythm that the three of us had, and it lasted for a very long time. She was the co-host for the rest of Phase 2. I mean, until the move to Toad Hop, she was around, and she added so much, her wit, her knowledge on film. She is a fantastic. She's a really good friend too. So I'm glad that she was part of the show. She helped build the show to what it is today. So this is a very fun and historic episode because it is the first time Catherine Reitman joined the show and became the co-host. So enjoy the show, and it's also funny because there's a little riff apparently on both Real Steel and I, Frankenstein. They announced I, Frankenstein at this point, so it's always fun to listen to the old news to hear what we were going to think, what was going to happen with it. We were pretty spot on with I, Frankenstein. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy it, and as always, comment, subscribe, and pass along to any other Schmoes fans that may not know about this channel. Thanks, guys.
All right, we are back. It is the Schmoes Know podcast with me, Christian Harloff.
And me, Mark Ellis. How are you, buddy?
Good, and guess what, pal?
What's up?
Our guest isn't here. That happens. That hasn't happened yet, but eventually it was supposed to happen, and today's the day.
Well, our podcast is gaining traction in the podcast community. It's becoming more popular. People enjoy listening to it, whether you're at the gym, on the go, or just at home and are unemployed. It's a fun thing to listen to, but occasionally we are going to have a guest that's late. Luckily, you have two co-hosts that really know their stuff. We really know our way around a microphone.
Now, the question is she late or is she a no-show? What's the percentage?
That's the thing. No, of course she's late. And why?
Well, yes, she's late, of course, but is it going to be a lateness or is it going to be, I forgot I was doing something, I completely lost track of time? What do you think?
Okay, but see, you're missing the point. Is that the pronoun you used, she, is the reason why we don't have a guest that's on time. It doesn't matter. She's in the shower. She was late. She's putting on makeup. It's a woman, and it's Saturday morning. Of course, she's not going to be on time. Here's what upsets me about women is like, look, dude, I was out late last night. I had a few beers. I'm here. I'm spry. I'm ready to go. Do I seem cranky to you? No, I'm in a great mood.
Oh, yeah, you're not complaining or anything.
We're missing the Wake Forest Florida State game to do a podcast with no guest right now.
Now, here's the funny thing.
What?
If our guest does show up, I have a funny feeling that your whole demeanor is going to change. You're going to be so nice, and there's no complaining or anything.
Honestly, I really am in a good mood. I'm very sunny. We had a good week of work. We saw some good movies.
We did.
We saw. I'm still a little jazzed up from Footloose. I got to tell you, man.
That's the one out of the three ones that we've talked about. Footloose is the one that stuck with you the most. Or four movies. That's the one that resonated, huh?
We saw Footloose last week.
Wait, hold on. This could be.
We have a phone call.
Let me see.
Okay, I'm going to announce the phone call. Christian answers the phone.
Hello. Okay. All right. Well, our guest is here. She's in the lobby.
Is in the lobby as we speak.
Get her. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to go get our guest. We haven't even said her name yet, so I'm coming to get you right now.
We'll be right back here with the Schmoes Know podcast.
All right, we are back, and it looks like we were. Ellis was wrong. Right? Or were you right?
I think I was right on the money. We started the podcast. We had a guest that was a little late, and I surmised that the guest was a little late because it was a woman. It was a female.
Right. That's not offensive at all.
And no, it's not offensive at all. It's like when you show up to a party fashionably late. And that's exactly what our guest did.
All right, without any further ado, I want to announce who we have on right now.
I want to build it up for like another half hour.
Okay.
I don't want them to know who it is.
That's fine. It's no one. Again, we're lying. No one ever showed up and just talking to...
The inflated doll from Lars and the Real Girl is here in studio with us.
Well, you just ruined it. No, we're joking, of course. our guest is someone that we are actually really happy to have on the podcast because we just recently became friends with this lovely lady.
In real life and online.
That's right. And, well, I guess we'll talk about how we found her in a second.
Okay, just say her name. Now
Catherine Reitman. Catherine Reitman. There she is.
Oh, my God, you guys. So much build-up.
How are you, Catherine?
All this foreplay. I'm fucking amazing.
Nice. You can swear as much as you want.
That is more foreplay than either one of us are, me and Christian are used to having.
That does not surprise me.
And we all agree for some reason today in the studio, it is hot as balls.
Oh, man, you guys, I am sweating, and it is not sexy.
The temperature is hot in here, and the conversation's about to get heated up, too. Wasn't that a great, bad, or morning radio tease?
You should be on Kiss FM.
We got Catherine Reitman in studio. We got 10 pounds of Jell-O we're going to give away to a lucky listener.
I think your jokes killed Al Davis.
Oh, man.
Too soon. Sorry.
I say right on time.
The guy helped merge the NFL together. Come on, man.
Okay, Catherine is joining us today. And here's the thing about Catherine Reitman, if you don't know, she is a very, very funny movie reviewer.
Hey.
You are. And here's the thing, though, too. We're part of this YouTube movie reviewing community. There are a lot of really great reviewers out there. There are not a lot of female reviewers out there. You have Bright Eyes, Long Lashes, and Grace Randolph, and Gab from Gab and Dad. But I had come across your reviews one day, and you made me laugh, and they're smart and they're funny.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Yeah, and we are glad to have you as part of this YouTube reviewing community.
Oh, it is a pleasure to be here. I've always watched movies. Movies has definitely been part of my upbringing. And, I used to go out to movies on the weekends with my friends, and we would, go out to drinks afterwards, talk about it. And I would sort of get onto these rants, and all my friends were like, there is a place for this. And, I sort of found my way to YouTube. And I'm still getting used to it. I mean, it's a pretty cool community.
How long have you been on YouTube?
Pretty, not too long. I started in January, and we're coming on to our 1 year anniversary. There will be a pizza party. You're both invited.
Thank you.
Yes,
I just won our hearts.
Sponsored by Little Caesars. It's nice to have you because it kind of it ups the property value of the YouTube community, so to speak.
Because of the boobs?
Huh?
Yes. Just be honest.
I had the nicest boobs on YouTube until you showed up. That's what I'll say.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to argue you still do. Man, they are lovely.
You should have seen him 4 years ago when he was still eating Domino's.
That's right. Nice and perky. Nice. And it's what you said too. It's fun to watch somebody who can do reviews and it comes off as natural. Like you're talking with your friends that's the most fun conversation that you have about movies is after you see something and people have varying opinions on it and you're hanging out at a bar or a diner or something and you just go on a rant about movies.
Totally. I actually have an allergic reaction when I watch a review or any sort of show and it feels fake or you can just feel people putting on a show. It's like, our audiences aren't stupid. Yeah. They can pick up on the truth.
You break out in hives watching it.
Oh my God. I have gone through so much. What's that? Chamomile lotion? I avoid dairy. No, I really like watching it, like your show, for instance, where you can just see it's like two guys talking. Not the smartest guys, but, opinionated. Opinionated.
The fact that one of us has a college degree is very, very impressive.
I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, guess which one that is, though.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a game I don't want to play.
Look, I went to Wake Forest. The degree, my mom sent me the degree just so I could remind people that I think my mom sent me my diploma just to remind me that I don't have to do what I do for a living.
Wait, what did you major in?
I majored in communications, which means
Isn't that like a sorority girl degree?
Yeah,
yes.
It's like
come on, be honest. You wanted to be a doctor first.
I was pre-med for about 2 weeks, and then I got my first biology test back, and I'm like, well, this ain't happening, so I better be really funny.
My brother did the same thing. He did 2 weeks in pre-med. I think that's like what a lot of very talented artists do.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing you to my brother. You're like a real idiot.
Your brother Jason? All right, yeah. So it's nice that one of us...
see, this is why I have to say, Catherine is going to fit in just really good here. We're already throwing shots at the little chimp.
Hey, look, I think it's nice that we were both pre-med. For me and Jason Reitman, we're pre-med for 2 weeks, and we both have gone on to stellar careers in other fields.
Absolutely.
I would say part of that is true.
Yeah. A lot of it's true.
Okay. All right. Now, here's something that Mark and I on the way over here were talking about this.
Did you guys drive here together?
Yes, we did.
Now, do you carpool often?
I picked him up. Yeah, it's really for the environment. We don't talk to each other. I don't like him that much. But
are there a lot of sleepovers? I'm sensing a trend.
My wife would kill us if that was the case. She sees him too much already. Having sleepovers would be a disaster because already the other day I was taking video of my dog and my dog won't move and I have to push her into the crate. In the background, you hear my wife scream, "Did Mark pee on the toilet seat?"
Which I don't. I'm very careful when I do that. First of all, I thought there were 2 separate bathrooms in your place. I thought there was one for me and one for everybody else.
It was built
It's
for
yours.
you.
Well, then what is your wife doing in my bathroom, Christian?
That's exactly what I said to her.
Someone appears to be Owen Wilson in this relationship.
Very,
I'm
very
picking
good
up on a
point.
trend here.
I am the Dupree of the family.
You sure are. That's what we're going to start calling the Little Dupree.
Teeny Dupree.
That's right. Now, on the way over here, Mark and I were talking about this. That we saw, what's that shit movie that we were talking about? Bucky Larson. Yeah. And now Mark knew a couple of people in that movie and was kind of, worried about offending people and stuff.
I have friends, and a new friend popped up in every damn scene, and I'm like, it's not a good movie, but I don't want to kill it in the review, so I kind of wanted Christian to kind of, be the fullbaut and kind of
and I had no problem shitting all over it.
No, you didn't.
No, but that was the thing is that...
How many schmoes did you give it?
0. 0 out of 5
Zero schmoes.
Yeah, 0.
Oh, brutal.
But you've got to come across that a lot.
Oh my God, it's such a fine line. My family knows a lot of people, so I'm sort of linked in through that, and I myself would qualify as kind of an actor, and I've been in a few things. And
you're modest.
I'm not modest. I'm accurate. I try to be very honest, and that's actually, I think, how you have to play these reviews. As you were saying, you just have to be completely honest, because if your audience even picks up a little bit of bullshit on you, I think you're going to lose all credibility. So I was recently in a movie called Friends with Benefits, which I did not like. I would give it 0 schmoes.
Really? 0?
Zero schmoes.
Friends with Benefits, 0 out of 5 schmoes.
Well, and there's many layers here.
Wow.
But for me...
Clearly you're not a Flash Mob fan.
Well, not in this film. Yeah, because that was such fresh territory.
That's ballsy. A movie she's in, she gives us 0.
Well, and
I gave Little Fucker 3 out of 5 schmoes. That's a great horror movie that I was in. You'll have to see it sometime.
No, you don't. You don't ever have to see
You
it.
can see it, just don't review it, please.
Okay, well, maybe zero schmoes is a little harsh. I don't know the full schmo review system here, but I think it's 0 out of 5, yes?
Yeah. You're basically calling it a shit bomb.
It wasn't a shit bomb. I would give it a solid 1 to 2 schmoes.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. It's low. It's low. And it's not that I don't love the director. It's not that I don't love the cast. There's a lot. I mean, I actually hung with Justin Timberlake while shooting it. I think he's really smart. I connected with everybody. It's unfortunately just the product wasn't solid to me. I thought it was sort of a story that's been told a billion times. There was not a refreshing take on it. The acting was sort of phoned in. And frankly, you get cast in these things and you're so lucky to get a job, but you also, if I sit here and go, it's great and you guys should see it and enjoy me in it.
Well, that's the thing, and I respect that you say that, because first of all, I thought the movie was I think I gave it 2.5 out of 5 schmoes when I saw
that's
it.
that's some heavy duty schmoery, right?
Yeah,
there.
and it was a schmoery.
Well, we both agreed that we just didn't like it as much as the other movie that was like that, which I
now,
loved.
what is the other movie?
There's this movie.
It's a film called No Strings Attached by, I believe, first-time director Ivan Reitman. I don't think he made anything
Newbie to the field.
Yeah,
before that.
Communications major, I believe.
I got to say, I don't think he may started it. But I really love No Strings Attached. I thought it was hilarious.
That was the funny thing about that, is because look, first of all, I didn't know that Ivan Reitman had directed it before I saw it, and then his name popped up. I'm like, this could be better than I thought it was going to be, and because I don't like Ashton Kutcher, I think he's terrible. But he was great. He was the most likable he was in this. I'm going to have to credit your father for that, because it was the way that it was shot. I think it was the way the tone was set. Now, what happened you might know that, you obviously will know this, as far as when it's shot, No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits, which one shot first?
I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I know Ivan Reitman.
I know his daughter once or I met her once or twice.
Heard she shows up late to things.
You know what, you guys? It was my first time here. Give me a break. On the other side of town, for God's sake. No one gave me a zip code.
Zip codes are important, especially in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. But back to topic.
Yes.
No Strings Attached was shot first.
Okay.
And the script of No Strings Attached was originally called Friends with Benefits. Oh, I know, you guys. This is about to get so hairy.
This is like the Kennedys miniseries.
I know, right?
It's about as hairy as your sound man.
I know. Every time I say that word, I get stomach contract. It's terrible. Anyway, No Strings Attached was originally called Friends with Benefits, and there was actually sort of a battle over the name. Elizabeth Merriweather, the writer of The New Girl, was actually the writer of No Strings Attached, originally called Friends with Benefits. Right. And Friends with Benefits just happened to get the rights first.
Okay.
However, No Strings Attached shot first.
Okay.
I had auditioned for Friends with Benefits, full well knowing that my father was making No Strings Attached. I read both scripts. And to be honest, I thought, Elizabeth Merriweather is so solid and writes for females. There's no one out there writing for females like that. It's just edgy. It's smart. It's not on the nose. And when I read No Strings Attached, I went, this is something. And because of my father's arc in his film career, I was actually concerned people wouldn't give it the full credit it deserved. And I actually don't think it was given the full credit it deserved. I think it was a really solid film.
No Strings Attached?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think more people liked it than you think. Because I honestly, and I think it was because Ashton Kutcher, when he stars in a movie,
You're being too hard on that
I'm
guy.
telling you,
For
dude, I've
this
had so
movie-
many conversations with people that because you
I
see
actually
him,
agree with you.
Yeah, you see
Really?
him and you don't take him serious because he's always screaming and yelling or doing stupid photo commercials, and you're like, what is he doing? And then when you see him in this, he's likable. He's never likable.
I think he's good in this. I thought he was very likable in that 70s show, and I haven't watched 2.5 Men since he's been on it, but I thought that was a great play for CBS to get him. So
Yes.
I think I'm a much bigger fan than you are.
Well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Totally. I'm actually a fan of Ashton Kutcher, and I did actually a reality show of his called The Real Wedding Crashers that was on
Steve Byrne.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Steve Byrne.
Oh,
Buddy,
yeah.
and I.
Yeah.
I did a reality show of his as well. Yeah.
It's a good life. It's the sweet life you and I are living.
We should be in the Amazing Race together. You
Let's
know?
do this.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
do this.
All
I'll
right.
be late everywhere.
I'm in. I
look
would
what I
never
did.
win the Amazing Race.
Be yelling at her. She's late. I can yell at her against lady problems.
Oh my God, so much perioding. Ugh, you guys.
She's getting a hot flash, so now I'm
know.
stuck here in this candle
Oh,
in the middle
I'm
of the room.
so pregnant. No, I think Ashton's really talented. I think he's made a couple poor choices, which I think every actor does and every filmmaker does at some point in their career. And because of that, we sort of don't give him any credit. And when my father got him, to be clear, a lot of us were very concerned. Okay. And my dad has this magical way, and I know I'm biased because I'm his daughter, but I've watched him work, and I know how talented the guy is, and he's taken a lot of actors that you wouldn't take seriously and gotten really profound performances out of them.
Yeah.
He's grounded. He's really makes people likable. And I thought what he did with both Ashton and Natalie, who was playing a pretty cold character, he
And
made them
so
both really
against
lovable.
type for her too. I mean, that was the thing I took away from that movie is just how great she nailed those lines. I mean, those were tough lines to pull off,
Yeah.
especially for somebody like her who'd never done that before. And she was funny.
Right. Well, there's something though too, and it's kind of going off topic, but not really. Inside of that movie, I don't know if you know anything about this. There was a whole storyline. It seemed with Carrie Elwes and Natalie Portman that's the only part of the movie that I was like, well, what happened there? It was this kind of awkward here and there. They had remember they had that.
Weren't they together?
No, it was. They kind of hinted at it, like
Right.
like she wanted to get a piece, but then it was like kind of she flirted with him a little bit. But
Right.
was there anything there that we missed, or that was pretty much what it was?
The only thing I couldn't, and I can't remember exactly, the only thing I can contribute that to is that the studio tends to always get overly involved, especially in the latter part of my father's career. I know the studios have been very involved, and I know that the ending changed a few times. And so that could contribute to it, that maybe it wasn't properly patched over. I don't actually remember that being a problem when I saw it, though.
It wasn't a huge problem. It's one of those things that I was just like, I wonder if there was something else.
Well, if
there.
you didn't like the movie, you probably wouldn't care about any other backstory. But now
Right,
it's like
right.
now you're kind of like, I kind of want to know. I like
So
these
invested,
characters.
yeah.
Yeah, listen, I went into that movie ready to. I had like all the insults ready. I had everything. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna tear.
Many
this in.
were, yeah.
I had a lot ready to. And then again, like I said, I didn't know Ivan Reitman directed. I saw. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt here. And then I was invested. I called up our friend Bonnie Somerville. I called her up like right afterwards, and I was like, you have to see No Strings Attached. I'm telling you.
know
She
what I
thought it was
told-
crazy, and she loved it.
What I told all my friends about No Strings Attached was because I do, believe it or not, I do have friends that actually enjoy going out on dates with women, and they do it quite frequently, unlike me. So
Not a lady killer?
I'm not a lady
You're
killer.
full of shit. You could get so many. You're just so asexual.
I'm very asexual.
Yeah, he's a very attractive man, ladies.
Yeah.
I'm sitting next to him. He's very cute, very smart.
And I'm
What's
good
the
looking
deal?
in person, and I wear hip, cool music shirts like a Journey shirt. That
I think I've
currently
seen
wearing.
this shirt before. I'm
We-
just going to say, I've only
when
seen
I
you
met
3
you, it
times.
hasn't
and he's
changed.
worn
I
this
wore
exact-
this shirt. But I told my friends that I wanted to do an experiment with them because I want them to take a girl to see No Strings Attached opening weekend and see if you get laid afterwards. Because I think it's such a kind of a mind-freeing experience for young people. Like, oh, you can sleep with people. It's not going to get weird. I mean, obviously, use protection, kids. But and it worked.
Well, that was the difference, I think, between that and No Strings Attached, because
Well, also, you traded
And
a
you didn't
great...
have-
You had a great
Kevin
performance
Kline.
by
Yeah.
Kevin Kline, and
phenomenal.
in Friends with Benefits, like, let's take out the funny dad and give the dad Alzheimer's.
Well, that's that,
man.
I don't wanna do that.
And that's the thing, though. When you think about Kevin Kline, you think about that line when he's in the hospital. And he's like, "I'm trying to consider if I'm going to kill this dog or not," and then you just start cracking up from his delivery.
Yeah.
And then you think of. I forget his name. From
Richard Jenkins.
Yes, and
Yes.
he's a great actor,
Great actor.
phenomenal actor. But misplaced in that movie. It's like, wait, what are we doing with the drama here?
I think the fact that they gave the dad like a disease, like he was slowly losing his mind in the context of that movie was like, we don't really need to see. Really?
Right.
I thought No Strings Attached had more fun with what it was.
Well, I think the writing of No Strings Attached just from the jump off was so much stronger. Nothing felt cliche. There were so many cliches. Also, Friends with Benefits, it looked like an attempt to show a new side of New York City, and it wasn't.
Oh, I agree. The directing, I think the directing had a lot to do with why it was so bad, because that movie was so, and I said this 100 times every time we talk about it, it's so bright. And it's so jarring.
You hated the lighting in this movie.
I hated the directing of the movie.
You should have seen, when we shoot, I don't know how much raw footage you get when you shoot a review, Catherine, but we shoot, and usually we have like 10 minutes of raw footage that we cobble down into about 5 or 6 minutes. We have about 15 to 20 minutes. And it's just him bitching lighting? About the lighting. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't notice. I just don't.
It was so jarring to me, because it was like this movie, it felt to me that here's this guy, he knew Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake, and he said, "Oh, I know them. I have an HD camera, and I'm just going to shoot. How about the exposure? Who cares? It's Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake."
I can relate. I get distracted by such stupid stuff. I mean, the littlest things will drive me crazy, and then I can't focus anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, I went and saw Footloose with you guys, and I noticed there was a phone. Someone kept looking on their phone.
We shared a moment here.
In a row over.
Yeah.
And I get crazy. I've grown so incredibly impatient with people in movie theaters.
Isn't that weird? Because the more movies you see, the more I bitch it at Christian, because he does this little thumb twiddle thing that he does, and
it's the smallest things, right? And it pushes you over.
I cannot focus. I wear a hoodie to every movie I go to now, so if it's really getting bad, I just throw the hoodie over like I'm an evil Jedi, and I just stare at it. But I'll also
it's called Sith Lord.
I will get up and walk up to the front row. Yeah.
It's called a Sith Lord.
That's right.
That's what he's doing during the movie, and I'm trying to focus.
Right.
But I'll also just walk up to the front row because nobody else is sitting up there.
Oh, I've moved before. In fact, I moved before the movie started because I predicted someone next to me would be a loud candy opener.
Well, that's why I moved also.
And then I moved again next to you guys. It's funny. It's an art.
We actually, because Catherine and I shared a moment during this Footloose.
We had a move. Me and Catherine had a moment afterwards because we both wanted to go dance somewhere.
That's
I was that moved.
But this is a theater etiquette moment.
Okay.
And here's the thing: she was sitting in front of us originally.
You guys were both on the aisle. You were shielding me.
Yeah, no. This is beforehand. When we first walked in, my wife and I came in, and we sat down, and there was this guy sitting, and he's doing the "I'm not going to share the armrest" move.
Gross.
Gross. I turned to my wife. I'm like, I'm out. And there was like these cushy chairs in the back. I moved over.
Well played.
Yeah, and then
when he just says his wife, he's not talking about me. He's talking about his actual wife. Just so everybody's clear.
By the way, I wasn't sure on that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We rode here together.
But listen, so then it gets dark, and these people, disgusting people who don't realize a bright light is very distracting in a dark theater.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
So I see Catherine turn into her left, and I know, me, I know that I hawk in and I share it away, and I looked at a lady and I go, Can you lower that down, please?
I heard you do that, and it was such a boner alert for me because I was so impressed because a lot of people don't get the balls to do this.
Yeah.
I constantly have been confrontational. I've gotten into fights, and I've always started subtly. You shh. Little shh goes a long way. But I've had to get very confrontational with people because they have no idea that they're completely ruining the experience for everyone.
Oh, they do it so much.
Or like when people go on dates to movies and they start whispering to each other.
Yeah. There's certain times, there's a fine line sometimes between. I don't mind, like here, when I saw Apes twice. I love the movie so much.
Me too.
When I saw it the second time, I took my wife to see it. It was a crowded theater. And when people are reacting, sometimes, like after there's a reveal in the Apes, or something happened. You know what? This is not the spoiler.
I just said that there's a real.
No, I mean, we do the no spoilers.
It's not out on Blu-ray.
I don't give a shit.
It's not on Blu-ray.
Listen, this is what you do. You mute it for the next 30 seconds and come back. When Caesar goes, no, some guy in the audience goes, damn, like really loud, right? And I'm like when that happened, I was like, that's awesome. That kind of reaction and people reacting to
that adds. Absolutely.
And the same thing with like a movie like Independence Day, where it's a fun kind of light movie. You're not so invested into it. You can have fun. And also a movie like Bridesmaids, where there's so much laughter, people are going to clap occasionally.
I don't mind that. It's when someone goes, hey, you want to get sloppy joes after this?
Now, what is the problem? Because I asked you that in all sincerity, and you never answered me.
I apologize. I mean, I wanted to wait until the dancing was over.
I completely agree, though. Like the Scary Movie franchise, I purposefully pick Century City movie theater because I know it'll be full of kids,
Yeah.
and I know they're going to be talkative. I go Friday night, 10 p.m., and I make sure it's a loud audience because that makes the movie.
You're right.
And the problem with me is that now I nip it in the bud because it used to just it's always little things and you just keep boiling, and then somebody sneezes and that's when you snap and you feel terrible about it. I was watching Monsters vs. Aliens, I think that was the movie, and I was in Brea because I had to work down there that night, and so I was killing time watching this movie. This chubby kid, it was like Mark Ellis at 10 years old, was 2 rows behind, and he would like purposely laugh. He was in that phase where he's showing off for his friends, and I let loose on this fucking kid. I feel terrible about it.
No, you don't. You should don't feel terrible.
I let loose.
I've seen
on
Ellis.
this kid.
Hold on. You yelled at him for laughing?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, shut your chubby ass up.
No, you
I
didn't.
You said
did
chubby
not.
ass?
Yeah.
Wow.
You made it personal.
How long ago was this?
Yeah, this was a couple years ago.
And were you chubby at the time?
No. I lost the weight, but I
Hold
was.
on. How big were you?
I was like 30
Here,
pounds.
you know what? I'm going to pull up something while we do it.
Yeah.
I found
But you
something the other
look,
day.
you look like you've been thin all your life. You've got that structure.
No, I was a fat kid. But Christian can also vouch for this that I've gotten better at it. We were at a screening at 50/50 at a very posh, small
Great
Beverly Hills studio screening, and these 2 people who barely spoke English were whispering throughout the movie, and I nipped that thing in the bud. I leaned over early in the movie, and I was like, "Hey, dude, can you hold it down?" The guy looks at me, confused, surprised that I'm talking to him, and he said, "Excuse me," and I said, "You're disturbing me. Can you stop talking?" And he was like, "Oh." They get really scared when you confront
How could there possibly be any confusion? I am. Please, what are you showing me right now?
Man.
I'm looking at a larger Mark Ellis. How long ago was this, Mark?
That's Fat Ellis right there.
Oh,
It's another movie review show I did. Look at that chin.
I always joke with him. He looks like he's wearing Ryan Reynolds' fat suit from Just Friends.
Yeah.
You guys, you can find this by going to YouTube to the Mark Ellis host reel.
Yes, you're going to check that out. And sorry,
I think you're adorable in it.
One of the best lines, the line that made me realize I had to get in shape was I was on the road with a comic buddy of mine, Brett Ernst, and I come home like 6 a.m. from a night out drinking and hanging out with friends, and I get in there, and Brett and our other buddy Jay Larson are up and they're having a debate, and I walk in and I'm like, man, my chin's really sore, and Brett looks at me, he's like, how's the other one? I gotta do something about that.
Well, yeah, look, as dickhead as it was, it helped you, and now you're 126 pounds.
And if you were the chubby kid I yelled at, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Maybe you're his Brett Ernst.
Give me a call and I'll help you work out.
You know, he went home, got a treadmill.
That's right.
Get out.
Now, listen, we're talking about the theater etiquette. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I with the age of the iPhone and all this stuff that's going on, and it's the problem that really gets me with that Footloose thing is that this was a professional critic that was doing this too, and it's like I don't care if you got to take your notes. What you do is you take your notes, and if there's some as a thought, go to the bathroom and do it in the bathroom. It doesn't mean I'm a critic, I get to disrupt people's things. No, stop it.
Also, I got something about note taking in movies, and listen, to each their own, of course. But if I look away, I have got like a stern policy on. I never take notes in movies. I feel like if I look away, or if I'm focusing on something that already happened, I'm missing story plot that's moving forward. I'm missing moments. If you don't remember it, that's mention in itself that it's not memorable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you should.
That's a great point, and I'll take back when you said to each their own. No, not in a movie theater. No. You got strict rules in a movie
okay,
theater.
I'm with you.
But it's what Ronnie Van Zant, the lead singer of Lynyrd Skynyrd, said: a song that you have to write down as a song ain't worth remembering.
Absolutely,
that's the truth, and I think that's the thing is that there's certain things. Don't talk too loud if if you're asking stupid questions or not about the movie. There's certain times that and if you're old and you're hearing what did she say, I get it, But
here's another little thing that I know because I'm a pro. If you're eating popcorn and you have like a candy wrapper, wait, there's going to be a point in the movie when it's really quiet. There's going to be another point where there's some action, there's some background music. That's when you rattle the candy wrapper if you have to.
Go for it. Open that damn Twizzler package before the movie starts. Let them out of there. Let them breathe. Then you're not going to run into those problems halfway through the film.
Yeah, and take your stinky feet off the back of my chair.
And brush your teeth.
You know how on
and lose some weight.
Remember on airplanes like that now they have like plainclothes U.S. Marshals, on some just in case there's a terrorist. I want plainclothes like cops in movie theaters just in case, and you shoot. The first one is a paintball pellet that you get shot for acting up. The second one is a rubber bullet. The third one's real, and you may be sitting next to a corpse in the movie, but hey, they knew it. They shouldn't have talked 3 times.
It's better than them sneezing.
That's right.
Very true. right, moving a couple more things we want to talk about.
Wait, we can't be bitter old people.
No, we shouldn't do that the whole time. No,
and they bring their skateboards right in the pictures.
Unbelievable.
Look, the lesson that should be learned here is just realize that there are other people in the movie theater. If there are such things,
you're not at home.
Right. There are HD televisions out there. There are Blu-rays, the surround sound. You want to talk and be a turd, then do it at home.
Absolutely.
And check your phone as much as you want, and then hit pause. Now, a couple things that we wanted to talk to Catherine about as well. And for some of you guys...
Is this about to get real personal? I hope so.
Well, first I wanted to make an announcement.
You did a movie in college that...
as you can tell,
through a period.
Well, we've only known Catherine maybe a month.
Doesn't it feel like years, you guys?
And that's the point.
We've known her for 2 weeks.
And that's the thing, is that when Ellis and I started doing this about 4 years ago...
Are you going to get emotional?
No,
Please do.
Catherine, whenever, and you should know this for future reference, whenever he starts talking about, me and Ellis started this 4 years ago, he gets a little misty-eyed,
Will you please not cockblock him and let him get through this?
Thank you. When Ellis and I started 4 years ago, I wanted to kill myself.
Sure. I feel it, and I've been here, 30 minutes?
Right, exactly. So here's the announcement. If you've been watching our reviews, I've been saying that I wanted to replace Ellis. That is going to happen. No, I'm just kidding. All right. No,
I accept.
But around,
look, it's a little hot in the room, but let's all keep our heads here.
But no, I'm totally kidding. But what I am serious about is that Catherine, myself, and Ellis, we've had these conversations about movies. When you know a chemistry is working, you go with it. And we have asked Catherine to join us on the podcast.
I think you should do it formally right now, and I should answer.
How about this? Catherine, would you do us the honor of joining us week in and week out on the Schmoes Know podcast?
I would not.
Yes, finally. Good.
I will do it.
But we're going to have to... She's got a class, though, so it's going to be a little later than normal.
You guys can't see. I was down on one knee, and I gave her an Arby's curly fry, and I put it on her finger.
That's
that was
right.
Close enough.
But I'm serious.
I can't believe you gave that away. That's an old fat kid for you.
That's right. Exactly.
No carbs.
Right.
Well, that being said, so... Schmoes Know listeners, viewers out there, make sure that you definitely listen to, you tune into Catherine's YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/
Catherine Reitman, I believe.
Okay.
Breaking it down with Catherine Reitman on YouTube.
There you go. So check it out there.
It's with a C, right?
Yes.
Catherine is?
Yes.
Catherine, Catherine, Reitman, Reitma.
You know what? If you need to spell Reitman, just watch the movie Ghostbusters. It's in the credits a couple times.
Oh, there you go.
Well, good segue for that, because I wanted to ask Catherine. I mean, she's actually credited, and we'll talk more about the plugs and stuff at the end of the show. But you are credited in Ghostbusters 2 as Girl with Cat.
Puppy, do your research.
We don't. That's something you're going to learn real quick. We don't do research on this show.
You were in Ghostbusters too?
I was. I was a little buck-toothed girl. You may have had a weight problem. I had the jaws of life.
Really?
I had enormous teeth and the smallest mouth you've ever seen. I had basically, if you can picture my father right now, you're welcome for that image, and now picture a little girl's face wrapped around that mouth. That is what I actually still currently struggle with. But it was that in a 8-year-old or 7-year-old body, and I'm in the lab with a little puppy, cutest puppy ever, and Egon walks in,
Amazing.
and it's an experiment. Harold Ramis, to be clear.
That's right. They're testing the psychological effect of something, and they take away the puppy.
Take away the puppy, and it's really, I don't know how the Oscars snubbed me, but the moment my face was so sad that the puppy got taken away. The experiment was really a successful one. He learned a lot from me.
That's great. I'm sure you learned a lot as well.
You were good in Ghostbusters 2.
Wow.
That's incredible. And Ghostbusters 2, obviously it's not as good as the first one, but Bill Murray still just knocks it out of the park. When he's hosting that psychic hour or whatever, that is some of the funniest scenes in any Ghostbusters movie. Either one.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so do you remember a lot of it?
I do. When my dad used to make movies when I was living at home with him and both my parents, he wasn't one of those dads that would disappear for months at a time. We sort of went with him. Mm-hmm. So I spent a lot of time on most of the sets, like Kindergarten Cop. I became best friends with all the kids.
That's great.
Yeah, I sort of befriended everybody. And
you were friends with a kid who said a boy has a penis and a girl has a vagina?
I learned so much from that kid. That kid was a genius.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally, Ellis and I are in awe right now. And here, let's talk about the most important one. Ellis, you've been dying to ask her about it. Go ahead. Think about it. What did we talk about beforehand? Come on.
Huh?
You watch how excited he gets when I say.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did a little IMDb. Well, I'm thinking classic comedies. And Space Jam isn't the first one that comes to mind, but it is on there. And I'm a huge basketball fan, and I love Space Jam. It's got Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Bill Murray in it. And now I come to find out our beloved co-host, Catherine Reitman, is also in Space Jam,
I
kids.
am Nerdlick Bubkiss, to be clear.
Amazing.
Your name was Nerdlick Bupkiss? Oh, my gosh.
There's a scene in the movie where
What a
these sort
name.
of little aliens...
That was the name of the kid I yelled at in Monsters and Aliens.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That was me, actually.
That's incredible.
I've been meaning to bring it up.
You have cleaned up.
They turn into actually huge, what ended up being
Right.
enormous black men voices. But before they transform into the huge, I believe it was the enemy basketball team that they rivaled at the end, right?
Yeah.
When they were teeny tiny, I was one of those voices.
Wow.
Because I'm very nasal, as you can hear, and I've had a low voice even since I was very little.
You worked a lot as a kid.
Well, it sounds a lot more impressive than it was. It actually was just, I always wanted to be an actor, and I didn't even know if I wanted to be an actor. I just like to get laugh. I like to ham it up, and
You like to entertain people, yeah.
I like
That's
to
more than
entertain.
we did as kids. I couldn't even get my summer reading done. She's in movies with, Michael Jordan and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
well, I don't think there's any mystery that my dad was being a really great dad. And
But you still got to hold your own, though. You still that's the thing, though. Of course, that you had an easier in than a lot of other people. But the thing is, too, you have to be able to have fun. You have to be able to be like, well, Catherine was good. Let's bring her. She don't bring your daughter in.
Well,
the fact that you can be on that you can watch those movies and nobody knew. Like, if I said, I'm Reitman's daughter's in this movie, you got to find her, you wouldn't be able to pick it out.
you're making it sound like I did actual real acting. I mean, these were really
I cried
one
during
or
that
two.
puppy scene in Ghostbusters 2.
Many did. No, I mean, when I was a kid, all those things I did in my dad's movies were literally a line, maybe two.
Right.
As I've gotten older, it's been really much more difficult. I mean, a lot of people assume, I'm sure, that having a name like that, Reitman, it's just your foot's in the door and everything's much easier. And I know my brother can attest to this, particularly earlier in his career. But people have so many preconceived notions, as you were saying, about, you're the daughter of this, you must be phoning it in, you don't have to do anything. It's actually been twice as hard. I've lost 2 roles that could have really changed my career, I think, because of my last name, and so that it's actually been very tricky. And because of that, you have to work twice as hard and really develop your own skill in a different way.
Can you mention the roles?
Look at you. I love you going right for the...
Gotta ask.
Right for the,
Because, if you're listening to this, you're going to be like, what are the roles? What are the roles?
I don't know
would've
if you
been a
saw
great,
Black Swan. I was Natalie Portman's role.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fine. She just
you
doesn't
would
want to
have been a
answer.
great muckraking journalist, like in the 1910s.
I know, right?
Like right before World
what I
War
do.
I broke out. You would have been great.
Hey, listen.
Slept with a lot of good leads.
Hey, all right. Look, so she's not going to answer that, but we know that she's been completely honest with a lot of this stuff too. But one of the things,
I'd rather not say than
that's
lie
fine.
or
That's
something.
that's totally fine. Now, what about so when a movie, let's say No Strings Attached or Up in the Air comes out, when you're reviewing stuff, do you review those?
First of all, I have reviewed No Strings Attached, and I thought it was right on. I'm sorry.
But what
It
if
feels so much cheesier in this land.
But what if it wasn't good? Would you be able to be honest on that one? That one's tough.
I absolutely would.
Really?
Listen, I know it's brutal, and I've
Thanksgiving difficult.
I know. But
Jack,
here's
you passed the
thing.
gravy? Yeah.
I thought I had the right to remain silent, Catherine. No, I mean, to be honest, my family is so brutally honest anyway. They've been, my dad and brother have argued over many of each other's films. I think they would respect me more for it. I'm not looking to hurt anybody or go out of my way and be cruel. And if it was really that awkward, I think I would rather skip reviewing it than give it a false review.
Yeah, I've done that because of something you have conflict of interest, stuff that there's a couple movies that we've skipped over that we couldn't do, but I'm just curious about it because again, you come to now, this is before you were reviewing stuff, but you come to Oscar season and then Up in the Air comes out at that time, and it's
it doesn't hurt that they make such good movies. You know what I mean?
That movie was awesome.
It really does. No, they're really on the good side of the ledger. They're way under par when it comes to movies.
Every filmmaker is going to make a couple flops. I know my father has. I'm sure my brother will. I'm sure I will.
If your dad was Michael Bay, it'd be a harder conversation to have right now. I'd be like, so did you have any advice? Like, maybe
if Dad was Michael Bay, she would have punched me in the face already.
I would have committed suicide already.
Awesome.
But that's the thing is, I don't think any of us. That's why I enjoy our review, our show, and your show is that we're not going after people. It's not. We're literally just giving an honest, funny review. We're telling you, hey, this is our opinion. And for people who work on both sides of the ledger, who want to act and also I just want to entertain people.
Right.
Totally.
You know,
We're not out there to so many
kill
times
people.
that like if you actually can be funny enough,
That's the truth.
the cruelty, it doesn't come off that way.
If somebody gets that offended, you don't want to work with them anyway. Really.
right.
And
That's right.
and that's the thing, guys. If you haven't seen Catherine's reviews, check them out because they're not just like she gives very in depth reviews, but she knows that you guys want to be entertained and that you want to kind of what Mark and I try to do as well. And
it's a comedy show as well as a movie review show.
And I think but that's also got to come a lot from being around your dad's set and being around people like that. I mean, you're a young girl and you're hanging around and Bill Murray is doing a scene. I think you're going to pick stuff up too.
That might rub off on you a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a great school to go to. Those are the schools like when you're growing up and you're paying attention and you're doing that kind of stuff. That's where you learn the most. You can go to film school and comedy classes and all that. I don't know why I said that like Arnold. I apologize. And you
never not do that voice.
Well, especially when you say comedy classes.
You go to comedy classes.
Right. Amazing.
I when you say comedy class, I got this image in my head like Ben Stein in like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like the most boring dry guy in the world teaching.
Now make sure when you deliver your punchline.
He has a clown nose on.
Yeah. So I mean that's the kind of stuff that's really cool, and to hear, I mean honestly, that's what I was curious about, and to hear how honest and you don't, that you want to go into these things, and if you happen to know people, look, brace yourself, because if I think your movie sucks, even if I'm in the movie, I'm going to tell you it sucks.
Right, and nothing excites me more actually than when something's really good. Right. And I've seen you guys have the same experience when I watch your reviews. When something's really good, and particularly if you know someone on it, you want to scream it off a mountaintop. I mean, it's so exhilarating to actually be able to celebrate something good that you actually know someone involved in.
Yeah, it's very true, and it's what I will say. Someone asked this on one of the comments the other day. 2011 has been a very good year for movies because 2010 sucked. I mean, there were some great movies in 2010. I mean, Inception and Black Swan and Toy Story 3.
The Oscar season for 2010 really kind of saved it a little bit because there were some good movies.
The second half was better than the first, but the first was a disaster. And this year, I mean, there have been a couple shit bombs like every year, but this year has been really good.
Yeah.
And
it's been a wild year for movies. A lot of remakes.
Yes,
Tons.
and we're going to be talking about that on next week's podcast.
Look
with
at you guys working together.
That's
man.
right.
That's called a setup spike.
That's right. We're going to be doing a lot of the remakes and re-releases stuff, and that's when, not in this podcast, even though you might have wanted us to ask, we're not going to ask Catherine about any news on Ghostbusters 3, so second.
But I have so much to say.
Wait.
I'll save it.
Fine. Next week we'll do that. And, so...
I can't talk. I'm so excited, by the way.
Is that a boner? Jesus.
No, it's just his journey shirt.
I can't do the show.
It happens to every guy.
It took one episode and she's out already. But there's so many good movies out this year, and there's the Oscar season's coming up, and I don't know. I've really been like a lot of movies have surprised me. And again, Mark and I just saw Real Steel, and I was expecting this thing to be just an utter piece of dog shit.
You and Jerry, when we did our fall movie preview a couple months ago, it was me, Christian, and Jeremy Johns, and they both kind of took the angle that this is going to be a silly kids movie. It's probably going to be terrible, and I was hopeful for it. I was hoping it wasn't going to be like Robot Jocks. I thought it was actually going to be fun, and there might be some heart to it. Not that Robot Jocks isn't great for what it is, a terrible, terrible movie, and you should Netflix it if it's possible. But I really had fun watching Real Steel.
That was the thing.
I really enjoyed it. Did you see it yet?
I feel terrible, you guys. I can't contribute. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, but that's the thing. But when you saw the trailer, you thought...
Yeah, no, my instinct is I have no interest in seeing this movie.
And that's how my wife was last night. She didn't see it with me. And I told her, I said, look, you don't have to run out and see it because it's not your type of movie. But had you been dragged to it, you wouldn't have mind gotten dragged to it.
I thought she
I've
would
actually
really
heard a
like
lot
it.
of that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of like... But is that also a case, sorry to interrupt, of trailers totally misleading viewers?
Yes.
Every trailer I've seen recently, I've been like, ugh, this is going to be a stink bomb. And then love the movie. Even Footloose or Cut Loose, as the ads.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I actually...
I don't agree with the Real Steel thing though, because that is exactly what they're advertising in the movie.
I don't agree with you. I think that it looks like a Gerard Butler
Why do you keep bringing up? You brought his name up in the review.
What's
Why
that
would
stupid thing he did with Jamie Foxx? That stupid thing that he did, the one man citizen or stupid ass citizen. What was it called?
Law-abiding citizen.
Law-abiding citizen.
How is that anything like what you see a commercial for with robots?
That's when I thought the tone or something was going to be like that.
I can see that actually.
Yeah, and then you think it's going to be.
You don't have to defend him, Catherine.
I
when
happen
he
to
says
agree.
stupid,
she has good attention. She has good taste, not ridiculous.
Okay,
taste.
look, I watch ESPN all day, okay? That movie that was all over ESPN for the last month because Disney released the movie, so it was just constantly Real Steel commercials, and I thought I got a pretty good idea of what it was going in. There was this, it was like a Rocky with robots. There was going to be some heart to it. It was maybe going to be a little silly fun for kids, and that's exactly what I got. And I was a satisfied customer walking out of that movie theater.
I'll tell you, I was too. Because
no cell phones went off either.
No,
pretty good.
That's a win-win right there.
Actually, wasn't that many where I went also, but I was watching this movie and I'm like, oh, okay, Hugh Jackman, is he going to start singing and dancing? I don't know what he's going to do in this.
He's really
movie.
good at that, though.
He's
is
good in this.
And trip threat for sure.
Do you remember the old school Stallone movie Over the Top?
Yes, actually.
That's more of what, and then this movie is Over the Top meets Rocky.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and it's he's basically playing a version of Lincoln Hawk in the movie, and it's like you're watching this movie, and I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. And the kid, man, Mark said this in our review, had this kid been awful, then it would have been a different movie. Oh, different movie, because the kid's likable, he's got charisma, and you're like, okay, I care about this relationship, and it's fine. It's not like an amazing movie, but it's a fun movie to watch.
Well, the two of them, the two of them were actually on a Good Day LA local Los Angeles morning show. And
Good Day LA is hysterical to watch, by the way, because those people are on all kinds of drugs. Like,
just a touch of makeup at 7 a.m.
They're really fun to watch, but
Good
Jillian
Lord.
Barber's crazy. She's all over the place. Steve Williams just over everything. The guy's got a bottle of scotch right under the table.
You're talking about Steve Edwards, but go ahead.
Steve Edwards, yeah. Steve Williams is the caddy of the Tiger fight. He's probably drinking that too. But I mean, that is such a fun. Like, I hate morning shows because I hate the fake chemistry. But you kind of get the fact that they're at each other's throats constantly.
Yeah, it's a great example actually of just authenticity. They're totally real. Anyway, the kid and Jackman were on, and there was this great real moment because the kid, they were asking him where he started. He's like, yeah, I've been acting since I was 2 weeks old, and the whole deal. And already you're like, oh boy, this kid's in for trouble. Right. And Jackman starts asking him, like, well, what do you want to do? Would you want to continue acting? And the kid immediately is like, actually, I want to direct. And Jackman says so sincerely, from a real place, he goes, oh, good, because I'm going to need work later. And there's this moment where you go, wait a minute, an actor's life. I mean, Hugh Jackman is at the peak of what an actor can accomplish, right?
Oh,
I mean, he's hosted the effing Oscars, right? And here he is telling this 10-year-old kid who's in his first movie with him going, oh, good, you're directing. That means I can continue to work.
He's giving this kid his resume. Yeah,
yes.
It's like something I would do.
Oh, it was such a sad actor moment for me. I was like, oh, brother.
Well, doesn't matter how big you get. Eventually, you're back to commercial auditions.
Now, we don't do this enough, and we should, Ellis, because we do a box office Sunday thing where we let.
I thought we were going to sing.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Okay. Sing, belt out a good Van Halen song.
But no, when you see the boy from Oz, like Hugh Jackman and the boy from Oz, and you watch him, because he was already good as Wolverine, then you see him sing and dance, and you're like,
he
this
can't
guy,
be stopped.
How am I the same species as this guy?
Right. Because you're not. Because he is from space.
Right. And but again, like we were talking about the box office.
Yeah.
Now on Sundays we do this box office Sunday thing where we tell the numbers of what's going on we get through.
Christian rolls me out of bed and makes me guess the top 5 movies in order.
It must be easy because you're right next door in his own apartment.
He's in the bathroom.
I sleep in a trunk. They get me a crust of bread.
But what we haven't done is that we haven't predicted the box office before it comes out. We haven't done that.
But here's the thing, dude. You go on all these industry insider websites.
I haven't checked. I promise you, I haven't checked. And
someone did too much homework for this game.
No, I was too busy looking up girl with cat or girl with dog and Ghostbusters 2.
And getting that much research and you got it wrong.
I got it wrong.
With puppy.
Awful.
Girl with puppy.
Thank you, Ellis.
I apologize. But I'm not even going to make a big here's my prediction. I say that Real Steel's going to come in first. Okay. Then followed by Ides of March.
Okay.
And then 3 will be something from last week.
When doesn't Footloose
is next week.
Footloose is next week.
Or is it this week?
Is Footloose this week?
Footloose is this week.
Oh, you're right. Wait, when the hell
No,
was it?
Footloose is next week.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we saw that. Man, we got that out really early.
I know. You guys were very early on that review. I was very impressed.
Craig Brewer actually tweeted us. Did you see that?
The director of Footloose apparently
liked our review and tweeted it.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's you can be an actor and you can talk about movies. You can be on both sides of the ledger, because at the beginning of our review we do like a little fun cold open. I hope it's fun before the credits of our show, and we were just Christian's like, he opens with, I did not want to see this. I thought this looked stupid, and I'm like, not a bad remake, and then it starts, and for somebody who directed that film to keep watching and to be genuinely interested in what we were talking about.
Because we don't give super
cool.
praise to the movie. We say we're glad he got his hands on it, because I still to this day don't think it should have been remade. There's no reason for it. But
we miss Bacon. We miss Lithgow.
Right, but
we miss the Sammy Hagar song.
But what Brewer did to the movie, he he paid respect to it, and I felt that it was a play. It was no different than seeing a play based on original material that you like.
Of course, and can you imagine how much hell he's getting for it?
Oh, he is.
Regardless of how good it is, which it actually is very, very good.
And everybody was given. I'm sure you too. They're like, "Oh, you're going to see Footloose? Oh, that I feel bad for you. That's got to be terrible."
Totally.
I don't know if I told you this when we were at the screening. I had a date that I was supposed to go on a double date with a Laker girl. Or a former Laker girl. Me and a buddy of mine and his fiance set me up with a Laker girl, and we were going to go bowling or something. And I'm like,
as you do with a Laker girl.
And I had to pass it up because I had a screening of Footloose, and we wanted to get the review out early. And it sounds bad on paper when you read what I could have been doing and what I was doing. It looks. I'll admit,
it sounds bad in person.
It looks
too.
bad.
Can I just say that?
You can say that, but I look,
and even the fact that the movie was good really doesn't absolve me of my sins because I still should not have been there. But
look, I once canceled a date to watch Battlestar Galactica, so I get it. That's all right.
I'm in the company of great men right now.
I have.
Did you not have TiVo?
I had the DVDs.
Wait.
I was invested.
You canceled a date to watch something you had on DVD?
I was invested. I was tearing through these episodes, and I'm like, okay, I gotta watch.
You can use all the fun verbs. Oh no, man, I was tearing through it. I was invested. Right. You passed up a date to watch a DVD
next week.
Of how to work out.
Yeah.
Well, not well.
It wasn't the wife.
No, you know what? It worked out well because you know what? And time goes through, and I met my wife, so I was supposed to cancel that.
Hi,
date.
Christian's wife. We're glad you're listening to the podcast.
She doesn't listen. It doesn't matter.
But so box office, you think Real Steel is going to be number one?
I think Real Steel. Then I say Ides of March, and then I would say something from last week, whether it be probably Dolphin.
Now, did you like Real Steel more than Ides of March?
No, I loved Ides of March. It's one of my favorite movies of the year.
That's tough for me because I didn't like Ides of. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Christian did. I
think you guys were on the same
I thought it got a little soap opera-y for me. It was a little dramatic for me, but the performances are great. It's a fun watch. It felt more like a TV miniseries you'd see on NBC.
That's actually a really good note. I mean, it's really slow for the first half, and then when it picks up, you're like, oh, this is a great movie. Here it is. Why didn't this start right now? And I would be so invested. And it's an Oscar movie, but it's also a lot of really smart filmmaking going down.
Yeah,
in
I
there.
agree.
I'll watch anything Clooney puts, even like the Leatherheads thing.
Oh, that was hysterical, by the way. I wanted to give you credit on that. Watch Catherine's review of Ides of March, and she gives the he's directed such things as.
I always say I always start off with the film. I say who the director is and what they're responsible for.
When you laughed on Leatherheads, you had me. I LOL'd.
Oh man, I got you to LOL.
I was really hoping that was going to be good because I love Clooney as an actor and as a director, and the movie it just did not work. I'm a huge football
Ides
fan.
of March actually was an apology for Leatherheads.
Wouldn't that be great at the beginning of Ides of March? It comes on and it says, first of all, sorry for Leatherheads. Mm-hmm. Here's a better movie.
Can someone do that? That's a brilliant idea. Someone on their next, if they have a flop with their next film, they must apologize up top.
That's right.
George Clooney has to wear an old school leather football helmet when he gets his Oscar for this movie.
All right, so here's a couple things we're going to do as we wrap up our podcast. We're going to talk about a couple of movie stories that are entertainment news that are going on right now. Of course, brought to you by www.darkhorizons.com. If you don't know that website, you should check it out. It's an amazing website.
It looks really cool.
Have you ever gone there before?
No, I haven't. What's this thing all about?
Darkhorizons.com is just it's a site that basically lets you know all the kind of the new news that's going on, deals that are being done with the studios, and
Christian's
all that kind
passed
of
up multiple dates in order to go on Dark Horizons.
That's not true.
And read news.
That's not true. All right, here's one of the stories that we can talk about. Judge Dredd. Okay, it was a comic book back in the day, and it was a Stallone with Rob Schneider, for God's sakes.
Oh, what a combo!
Oh, what a garbage bag! But it was going to get a reboot. A reboot. And now, in a rather bizarre twist, Dredd director Pete Travis has been removed from the upcoming comic book adaptation right in the midst of post-production, reports the LA Times. Now, the question is, they say that he got into some creative disagreements with the producers. They shot all the footage, and now they're in post. Now the question is it, Carl Urban is in this movie. Is it a raging shitbox, or is it just that they didn't like the way he was directing it, like a Richard Donner type thing with Superman 1 and 2? I mean,
well, there's been so many movies this year already, and like you were saying, great movies, but you can actually feel how insecure these studios are. The amount of, and I know we're not going to get into remakes quite yet, but that's next week. But all the remakes being made, you can sort of feel how insecure the studios are. And when you have a studio with not a strong intention of what the film is supposed to be, you're going to get into so many creative problems because the point of view is all screwed up. You're going to get directors coming in and off, actors being replaced, the storyline all of a sudden taking stupid turns.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But is Dredd something that we want to see? I'm was a kid
about it.
when the first movie came out.
Were you a fan?
I wasn't. I saw it and I thought it was an okay action flick.
Did you like the comic? Did you ever read the comic? The comic was badass.
He was too busy getting laid, Christian.
Yeah, dude.
False.
Yeah, I was
100 pounds heavier.
Or being a chubby kid playing Magic the Gathering. Either way you want to take that.
Fact.
Awesome.
So I mean, I don't know. Carl Urban to me is never. He's still his best roles. I think were in Lord of the Rings, and he's and even Star Trek. He's better as the supporting guy. He's just one. I like Carl Urban. He's just not a lead actor.
Now, have you ever seen him as a lead before?
I passed on Pathfinder. How about that? I didn't watch Pathfinder.
Nor I, but I feel like often when you take a secondary character and put them into lead role, it can either be the smartest thing that studio ever did or a disaster. Like, did you guys ever see Good Old Fashioned Orgy? It came out this summer.
No, but I want to.
Tyler Beane's in it. Jason Sudeikis. It's pretty funny, actually. Lake Bell. And Sudeikis is actually the lead role. And the guy's a really talented dude, but we're so used to seeing him as the best friend. He takes on the reins as the lead.
Does?
Yes.
Okay.
He plays the lead of the film. And as funny and likable and all that as he is, you're going, you keep waiting for the hero to show up.
Right.
You keep waiting for like the real person to show up and be like, oh, you're the person I care about.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. And so I think that more often than not, it's sometimes they push these people into trying to do the lead right away, and it doesn't work. I think a lot of
it should be like a workshop, right? Like a camp, like fat camp, except they're trained.
It's right.
Protagonist.
It's right after the comedy class. Now here's a story that it kind of pisses me off, to be honest with you. Aaron Eckhart is the new Frankenstein. Now, before you go, it could be okay. Aaron Eckhart's
the new doc, because people confuse this all the time. Frankenstein is actually the doctor, or pronounced Frankenstein. He's actually the doctor. He's not the monster. Is Eckhart going to be the doctor?
You're getting too much into your own head at this point.
I actually have the same question.
I heard Eckhart and Frankenstein.
Listen, this is the article again. Dark Horizons. Aaron Eckhart is set to play Adam Frankenstein in Stuart Beattie's comic-to-featured adaptation, I, Frankenstein. In the graphic novel, Frankenstein's creature, now called Adam, has survived to present day due to genetic
stop it. Just read the story.
But it's like it's already
Stop farting.
I apologize. Making his way to a dark gothic metropolis, he finds himself caught in the centuries-old war between two immortal clans. The comic actors Kevin somebody co-created the Underworld franchise. Now
he has allergies.
Yes.
So many modern day problems.
I mean, come on.
And he's sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah,
right.
G.I. Joe and Collateral scribe Stuart Beattie.
So you're taking Frankenstein's monster, you're putting him in a kind of a futuristic, dark kind of world. It could be okay. Well, look, do you want them to just remake Frankenstein because they tried that with the Kenneth Branagh De Niro thing, and it kind
I don't know. I just don't understand. I mean, look, it's one of those things. It could be a Scott Pilgrim thing where maybe the style is so cool and it sets you up in a way that you're like, okay, you know what, I'm sorry, and that's the thing that you'll learn about us, Catherine, too. Like, especially for me, I'll shit all over an idea like this, and then if it's awesome, I will give it its credit. But I just don't think.
Well, we'll both give it its credit. But as far as like really stylistic, the whole Bunraku thing kind of turned me off to that for a while.
Listen to your instincts. You know what I mean? Like, if we're proven wrong, so be it, and we'll give credit where credit's due. But this smells like a stinker to me as well. Do we know who's directing it?
I think
the kid from Real Steel it's his first.
It's Stuart Beattie.
He decided Hugh Jackman just wasn't right.
It's Stuart Beattie again. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But
that's a good story, though, Christian. I'm glad you found that story.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Eckhart, Frankenstein. That's an exciting.
That is very exciting.
All right, we're gonna do one more story here.
Okay, no farting.
No farting.
Yeah.
This is not a shocker to me. This seems like something that Johnny Depp is going to play Dr. Seuss.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Not like a Dr. Seuss character, like the actual Theodore Geisel. Really?
Yes.
Are you sure this isn't a documentary?
No, he's going to
following
play
Johnny Depp.
They don't know yet if he's definitely going to be playing him, but I guess he's producing it, and they say that Johnny Depp's going to produce the project with the potential to star as Dr. Seuss. And
smells like Alice in Wonderland to me.
Wait.
Didn't he
play the guy that wrote Peter Pan?
Hold on. That's a good point Catherine just said, because Johnny Depp will produce the project with the potential to star. And while it won't be a major fantasy film like Alice in Wonderland, there might be some animated bells and whistles added to the mix.
There must be, and there's probably going to be some rhyme schemes in there too. There might be a train or a plane with green eggs and ham.
That's
Sounds lame.
I hope.
Nice.
I hope Johnny Depp doesn't think he's Hunter S. Thompson in the film and take it off into a whole different
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say Johnny Depp because that new the Rum Diaries is coming out, the new Hunter S. Thompson thing. I like a lot of my college friends. One of the movies that we would come home after a night of partying and watch would be Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And when they put that on, I left the room. I just did not like that movie at all. I couldn't get into it. But the Rum Diaries looks really cool. It looks like it's a little more
you're interested in it.
Palatable for a normal consumer.
I'm not so excited about it, but it's only because the decisions Johnny Depp has made in the latter period of his career have been a little disappointing to me. I used to have such a boner for this guy, and gun to my head, I would still sleep with him. However,
you're married.
Yeah. Gun to my head, I'd sleep with the guy. Come on, it's Johnny Depp.
You're so conservative. We could say we'll sleep with movie stars. We're never going to meet them.
That's true. Wait a minute. You just did a movie with Justin Timberlake. What are you talking about?
And I slept with him.
Nice.
No.
All right. Now, actually, I want to wrap it up, but I have to do this. There's more Superman pictures coming out. Okay.
Luke, I'm so sick of stupid studio shots. Like, behind the scenes. Just show me the movie.
I want to wait. They don't even show a good one. It's just him in a sweatshirt with his.
Well, Christian, first of all, we're doing a podcast, so the viewers can't see the pictures anyway.
Man, we are all naked. There is so much to see here.
Yeah, and all it's going to be is it's like Superman. It's like, is that new suit sponsored by Under Armour? And he's drinking coffee, and there's a camera in the background. Big whoop. Show me a trailer. Show me the movie. I'm sick of on-set pictures.
Last to get naked. All right, guys. That being said,
is that the bell? Is that the judge's gavel to end the podcast?
I think it was a penis.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was a penis.
Now,
I could be wrong.
Thank you guys for joining us yet again on the Schmoes No Podcast.
You say it like it's late. No, you guys are welcome. That we did a very nice podcast, and we had a very great guest today, Catherine Reitman.
That's right.
We look forward to future podcastual endeavors.
Yes. Let's give Catherine a few more plugs.
Thanks, guys.
So you can catch her on the Blu-ray of Ghostbusters 2. It's in the beginning, folks. It's right in the beginning of the movie where she's a girl with puppy, and the way that she reacts emotionally when that puppy's taken away.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
You talk about a young Brando. You talk about Meryl Streep. And
it was hard to stay in school.
Reitman.
I mean, there's just a lot of calls coming my way, you know?
Okay, so make sure you go to youtube.com/Catherine Reitman. Shoot, getting my phone call. You want to wrap this up while I take our next guest's phone call here?
Yeah, sure. Catherine, why don't you give him a quick plug and where they can find
Like he said, absolutely. Check me out, Breaking It Down with Catherine Reitman for a comedy review show that will just blow your boner
I kind of like you combining the words, a comedy review.
It's a com review. It's a communist review.
Whoa, there we go. Okay.
So, all right.
It's a family show. Let's clean it up. We're reviewing comedy. Catherine Reitman. It's youtube.com/Catherine Reitman.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us, guys. Again, check us out, schmoesno.com, YouTube.com/schmoesno, and check out our show on movies.com. And we shall see you next week.
Bye, guys.